Well, while working on our special report about the Indiana Department of Child Services, we put a call out on Facebook asking for someone with a personal experience to come forward. As you can imagine, we got a lot of responses, ranging from accounts of children mistakenly taken out of homes to claims of children removed from a home only to be put in another abusive situation. We found one story, though, that stood out. We'd like you to meet Nicoll Cain. Her story has a happy ending. It's proof the system can work, even if a few problems need to be fixed.
When you first meet Nicoll Cain, the first thing you'll notice is her smile. A smile she didn't always wear so easily.
It was difficult, obviously very difficult.
Nicoll says she was removed from an abusive home twice before the age of 13.
My dad abused a lot of drugs, and he was also abusive to my siblings and my mother and I. And my mom, I don't really know her full reason for it. She had the choice, though. She could have either chose to stay with my biological dad or to have her children, and she chose to stay with him.
Her biological mother and father had their parental rights terminated. Nicoll and her two younger brothers ended up in foster care. She remembers the day she was pulled out of class and told her future would change forever.
And they took me into the office and told me that Child Services was there to get me because we were getting taken away from my parents and going into a foster home.
Turmoil at home can lead to behavioral problems, trouble at school, and even juvenile delinquency. But that's not how Nicoll's story ends.
Really proud of her.
They give me so much. They give me more than I need. They're always there for me. They love me no matter how many mistakes I make.
While in foster care, Nicoll became best friends with Sean and Brian Cain's daughter, and that friendship turned into her family.
Called Brian and said, hey, Nicoll's brothers and her are on the website. They're up for adoption. He says, well, we got to do something.
The Cains adopted Nicoll and her brothers, and the experience led the Cains to want to help other children too.
Just to help one kid out. And 13 later, I think we've helped a few and given them a safe environment, whether it's short-term or long-term.
Hear stories of people who don't get foster parents like I did, that they don't treat the kids the way they should be treated, and I don't think that's right, and I don't understand how they can allow those people to be foster parents at all.
The Department of Child Services says family reunification is the ultimate goal, but in her situation, Nicoll doesn't think her biological father should have received a second chance.
If it would have been my choice, he wouldn't have gotten a second chance.
Sean also agrees some changes may be needed to DCS.
We can't go to the local DCS office and say, you know what, I have a concern here. It has to go through the hotline, and then the hotline is going to decide whether or not it's even considered.
My two biological brothers and I, we were put in such a bad situation, and I always thought there was no hope for me.
If you know a child in a bad situation, Nicoll wants you to know there is hope. The system can and does work for other children, just like it did for her.
They're going to be the ones who are firefighters, who can be police officers, who can be doctors, and if they're stuck in a home like that, it almost brings you down, and you don't think you can be someone that important, but those kids can be important. I have a great future ahead of me, and I don't know what it's going to be, but I know I'm going to do amazing things.
Not every story ends happily like Nicoll's, but her story is an example of how one that began so grim can end with a beautiful smile, one I bet you won't soon forget.
Now, Nicoll is in college on a scholarship pursuing a degree in criminal justice. She hopes to one day become a police officer, and specifically a town marshal. If you know of a child in an abusive situation, or if you're a member of a family in crisis, help is available. We've posted information for you in a special section on WLFI.com.
Certainly a very touching story there.
She was so inspiring. I mean, really, no matter what the end result is, whether it's back with a biological family or put in foster care, an adoptive family, I mean, having someone who's so well-adjusted, who's her strength and courage was just very moving and inspiring.
Well, thank you for sharing her story. Sure. We don't get an opportunity
Thank her
to see
for
a
contacting
face with
us.
that. Yeah.